It is a very overcast and kind of rainy day today as I look down these railroad tracks here in the small town of Bladenboro, North Carolina. Plan today is drive down to Whiteville, but I wanted to kind of start off my morning here in Bladenboro. Talk about this beast, this mythical beast that used to terrorize this community back in the 1950s. Good morning, my friends. Welcome back to the channel. Hitchhiking Yeti here. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is going to be a fun one and perfect for the month of October because we're going to cover a few things today that's kind of hauntings and things like that. One right here in Bladenboro, as I said, this mythical vampire beast that kind of terrorized the area with killing livestock and dogs back in the 1950s. And then when we make our way down to Whiteville, we're going to look around that town a little bit, look at some of the storefronts, some of the historic buildings. And then when we're done in Whiteville, we're going to make our way a little bit further south to a haunted bridge. Some people's claim is a haunted bridge. I'm talking about a bridge known as the Heartbeat Bridge. Just imagine what kind of story I'm going to tell you when we get to Heartbeat Bridge. We're going to do all that today. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go ahead and get started. And hopefully it won't rain too much on us. I did bring an umbrella, but hopefully we're going to stay mostly dry today. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, so we're going to begin our little walk to the uptown area here, where they have a plaque for the Bladenboro Beast. But right here is Bladenboro Town Square. Have some businesses right here. Really awesome. Got a place called Aunt Bee's Country Kitchen. And then right over here they have a little coffee shop that I think has got an awesome little name. It's just called Yonder. Yonder Coffee, Tea, and Creamery. That is pretty neat. So I knew I was going to be here in Bladenboro today, and they have their own cryptid here, which is these mythical beasts. And I actually bought this shirt right here. This here is the Mothman shirt that I purchased last year on my visit to a place in West Virginia called Point Pleasant. And Mothman has probably always been kind of my favorite cryptid, but no, I don't know a whole lot about the vampire beast until here recently. But oh man, they got a hamburger location here. Look at that. Diamond Dave's Grill. Diamond Dave's Grill. That's kind of cool. I like that name, Diamond Dave. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Van Halen when I hear that. They definitely are ready for Halloween, as they got some of their Halloween decor right here. Got some pumpkins, jack-o'-lanterns. As the rain is coming down in droves, I've made it up here to the little square area. And right here is the signage that I seen when I got in town. Legends and lore, vampire beast. In 1953, the small town of Bladenboro was terrorized by a mysterious cat-like creature that attacked local animals and draining their blood. Yeah, that's pretty creepy. So local residents here in the area started finding their dogs and their livestock dead. The bodies would be crushed or mauled and even drained of blood. And some of the wounds would be around the necks by like 2 big puncture areas, which earned this creature the nickname the Vampire Beast. So if that part of the story ain't spooky enough about this creature, witnesses had claimed at night they heard these like blood-curdling screams at night, unlike any local animal they've ever heard before. And even one woman saw a large cat-like beast that she described as resembling a cougar or a panther, even though cougars have been extinct in North Carolina at that time period for many years. So the community response to the strange killings terrified the community. Families kept children inside, and hunters from all over the region flooded into Bladenboro, hoping to track down this beast. At one point, over 1,000 hunters came armed and ready to kill it. Several large bobcats and wildcats were killed in the search, but townspeople didn't believe any of them matched the description of the true beast itself. Okay, so that's going to pretty much do it here in Bladenboro. That's the story of this mythical vampire beast. Now we're going to make our way a little bit further down to the south from here, down close to Lake Waccamaw area. And we are going to go to the small southern town of Whiteville. Really looking forward to that. Never been to Whiteville before, but I heard they got some good hamburger locations down here. They got some grills in and around town, so we're going to kind of explore there a little bit. And once we finish that up, we're going to make our way down to this spooky bridge, heartbeat bridge that is, and see if we can hear a heartbeat today. Okay, and just like that, I've made it from Bladenboro, the short commute down here to Whiteville. As you can see the water tower off in the distance. But this first building that we're going to look at here has some historic value to it. This here is the original bank that was built here in Whiteville, and they just called it very simply Bank of Whiteville. Built in 1906. This little plaque was put here in place by the Reuben Brown House Preservation Society, Columbus County Historic Landmark number 3, which the Reuben Brown House, I think, is the oldest structure here in town that was originally maybe right here in this area, but it has been moved as of the 1960s, so it dates back into the late 1800s, I do believe. And this right here is an awesome looking building. This here is the Columbus County Courthouse that was designed in the classic revival style, built in 1915. So yeah, that is pretty epic looking. What a cool downtown area here. This little roundabout that circles the courthouse is pretty neat. So I walked across the street just to the other side of the courthouse. We was right across the road there where the old bank is. I want to come over here and just look at some of these old brick buildings here. I love the architecture of these old brick buildings from the early 1900s. As you can see, this one, a lot of times you can find some of these old buildings where they actually stamp it at the top, and this one they did just that. This little white stamp up there, it says 1907 when that was constructed. Right now it's a law firm, but I wonder what it was originally. Look at the door and that like round window where there's like a chandelier just inside the window right there. Who knows, maybe that was a inn or a hotel of some type maybe at one time. That is pretty cool. Okay, I've made my way down the street a little piece, right here on the corner of East Columbus Street and South Franklin Street. And I like this little white picket fence right here, very cute. But this white picket fence actually belongs to the oldest building here in the town of Whiteville that dates back to the mid 1800s. And that plaque right there says the Reuben Brown House, 1830. Wow. And I believe I read online, this used to actually sit uptown close to the bank. And then they moved it in 1967 from its original location where it was built to this location where it could be preserved. So that is pretty awesome. The Reuben Brown House. Right here we're looking at the oldest structure in the town of Whiteville. Okay, I made my way down here on the south end of Business 701 here in Whiteville on the south side of town. Check out this old Pepsi sign up here. That is a real relic right there. And this says, "What a burger." And this is a local burger spot here in Whiteville. One of many that I've heard of. But this place right here looks pretty good. We're going to walk up and kind of look at some of the burgers they have on tap. And I think we're going to order one. And right here, What a Burger sandwiches and plates. They do curb service here. And I love the burgers. Look at this right here. We got What a Burger, What a Cheeseburger. That's what I'm going to get. I already know. What a Cheeseburger with chili slaw, mustard. That's what I'm going to go with. They got mini What a Burger, mini What a Cheeseburger. They got some hot dogs, pork chop, ham, and breaded fries. Really interesting. I've never tried breaded fries, but we're going to try that today. All right, friends, this is what we're dealing with. Check out this hamburger. Look at that thick daddy right there. Does that not look good? This here is a Whataburger, what a cheeseburger with chili slaw and mustard. Bon appetit. Oh my goodness, we found another good hamburger location, man. This thing is awesome. Look at that bite right there. Oh, big old thick burger like this. And one more thing, the hamburger is delicious, but look at this French fry. It's got like a breading on it. That is very interesting. So the French fries are really good, very different. I don't think I've ever had a French fry with breading on it like that, but I do like it. Wish I would have had some ketchup, but I did not have any ketchup. I did not ask for ketchup. Not normally a big ketchup eater, but all that being said, the fries are awesome, and this hamburger is phenomenal. Whew, I'm full. That what a cheeseburger was a lot for me. That was a heavy eat. That was a big, thick burger. Really good flavors though. Everything was great. The chili, everything just the way I liked it. It's a really good thick burger. Let's go ahead and make our way on up in town, check out the rest of Whiteville, and then go to that old spooky bridge. Okay, right here on the corner of South Madison Street and Pecan Street, we have the Columbus County Art Center, as they have a mural right here painted on the side of this building. Like this gentleman is, you can't see the mule in this picture or horse, but that's what he would be doing. He's got that strap around his neck, on the back of his neck, and he's holding the plow in his hand. And there would be a mule somewhere out in front of him, helping him plow up his garden. Okay, right here on the main thoroughfare through town, we have frames and antiques. And speaking of vintage, that sign definitely looks like a vintage sign. And I noticed they have this vintage renewed signage right here in the window for this store. A lot of paintings and things like that in there. Then over here on the left, they have a sandwich shop. It's called Jerry's. And then they got another place right next to it that looks pretty cool, all prettied up, called T-Box Bar and Grill. Okay, right here we have antiques and collectibles. And right across the street, look, we have us another grill here in town, Ed's Grill. Hot dogs, hamburgers. And then right next to that, we have a very large store, and this here is called the Mercantile on Madison, established in 2023, which that was just several years ago. So this place is still fairly new. And right here, we found another grill. This is called the Ward's Grill. And I have actually heard of that place before, but I'm here on a Saturday, but unfortunately it's already closed. And it's only about 1:30 at the moment. Okay, now I made my way up here in the kind of the center of town where the railroad tracks are located. This here is the corner of South Madison and West Main Street. And check out this signage right here. It says North Carolina Pecan Music Festival, downtown Whiteville. And we're definitely going to have to walk right over there because that looks like an old train depot. But look at this gym right here. You see that overhang? You guys know how I like old theaters. I think we just found one. So notice the overhang has a C on it. That was actually because this place was called the Columbus Theater, and it was opened in 1928. It originally had a stage up front so that the live shows can be held in addition to screening films. So another interesting thing about this theater, it was built for segregation. White patrons sat downstairs while black patrons sat in a separated entrance that seated them in the balcony area. This changed when it was integrated years later. Oh wow, I love this Italian restaurant sign right here. That is so awesome. Anthony's Southern Kitchen Italian Restaurant right here on the main thoroughfare here in town. And then right across the way is another one. Look at that. That brickwork up there, the mural up there, it says The Chef, the Frog. Casual fine dining restaurant and lounge. Man, that looks so cool. That was a great idea when they printed that up there. That really looks good. So one thing that I can definitely guarantee you, you will not come to Whiteville, North Carolina and starve. There is a lot of restaurants here in town. And matter of fact, right here is another one that serves sandwiches, coffee, pastries, ice cream. Says best sandwiches in town. It's called Sophie's. And check out these old school storefronts right here in the area. This is right here next to the railroad tracks. All the way down through there. Boy, those really date back, I would say, until the, 1920s maybe. Those real boxy looking buildings. But right here next to me is the old train depot here in town. And it says this depot was built in 1903 to serve the Whiteville and Vinland areas. Vinland refers to the abundance of grape vineyards here in the area, which ship large quantities of grapes. And that's kind of how all this happened. Made everything kind of blow up because of this depot and hauling grapes out of here. That's some interesting info that I had no idea existed. Thank goodness for the internet. So here's another fun fact about the depot. Notice the red bricks. I really didn't think about it when I first got here, but yeah, most depots I've ever seen's always been made out of wood. And this one was the first brick railroad depot in eastern North Carolina. Most depots in this era were wooden structures that could be moved around. This one being brick made it more permanent. And man, they have renovated this thing for sure. This is beautiful. Look at the steps up here in this like little patio area. Yeah, they've really kept this place up nicely. It's a really good looking depot. All right, I'm in kind of the husk right now of a abandoned store here in town. It has no roof or anything. It's pretty much completely gutted. But I was just kind of walking over here off of Short Street, which is one of the cutest streets I've ever seen because it's so short. It literally starts right here and ends right there. So I just imagine that's why they call it Short Street. But when you look out here on the store, you notice it has an old ghost sign up here. And I don't know what kind of store it is. I really having a hard time making this one out. But I think it said Bros right there, like B-R-O-S. And that might have been like department stores. But I don't know exactly what that used to say. And there's a pipe right there that kind of messes up the lettering a little bit. So if you live in the Whiteville area and you know what that used to be, I'm really curious to what this was at one time. It's definitely not functional no more. I can safely say that. But this is on just right behind the mercantile store that I showed earlier over there on the main street. Right here, this is parking for Mercantile on Madison. Okay, so we're kind of getting some raindrops again, but I made my way right here to the corner of Short Street and West Commerce Street. Look at this relic. Look at this old meat market right here. You know, the building is just okay. It's a brick building. We've seen them time and time again, but the sign up there is what I'm impressed with. That looks so freaking cool. I love that. Enjoy Coca-Cola on both ends, and in the middle, you have Whiteville Meat Market. Yeah, that just looks old and vintage. Absolutely love it. Okay, that being said, my friends, I think it's time for us to end things here in Whiteville, North Carolina. It's been a nice little walk around today. Hope you guys enjoyed that part of the town, the downtown, some of the storefronts. What a burger. What can I say? It was really, really tasty. And I also want to give a shout out to the nice lady in there that was frying those burgers. She was super busy today. And but she was a blast to talk to. I had such a good time talking to her. Her and her family just got back from Disney World, and we was talking about Disney stuff and what a good time they had and things like that. So it was a lot of fun. But all that being said, let's go ahead and wrap it up here, and let's go find this creepy bridge, Heartbeat Bridge. And why do they call it Heartbeat Bridge? We're about to find out. You're about to find out. I already know. I'm about to share it with you. Let's go ahead and go in that direction. Not too far outside of town from what I've been told. All right, I'm out in the boonies now, as you can see. I'm out here in a place called Cheer Factory Road. And this is supposedly, this dirt road right here is where we're going to find Heartbeat Bridge. Okay, my friends, I made it. I'm out here in mosquito heaven. This here is the location. It's very swampy out here. Look at this place. Wow. But this here is indeed the place they call Heartbeat Bridge. And this has got to be it, because you can just tell with all the graffiti. It lines up on everything that I've seen online about this place. It's pretty creepy. Just check out the ambiance here. Look back in there. And oh, that's sad. There's actually a little cross out here for somebody. A little memorial. Wow. So here is the story. And the story I'm about to tell you has nothing to do with that cross as far as I know. And I think there's quite a few fish out there, because there's some stuff kind of nibbling at the top of the water. Upsetting the water. Let's check that out back there before we get started with our story. Look at those trees. Man. Ooh, that was a bass. So here we go. Let's start with our story about Heartbeat Bridge. A mass killer removed a woman's heart and threw it into the water below. To this day, people say at night you can still hear the heart beating from below the bridge. And that is why people with more guts than me will come out here at night and stand on this bridge and listen real quiet and see if they can hear the heartbeat of that woman. So that's one version. There's several versions to the Heartbeat Bridge theory or legend. So here is the other one. Long ago, a young couple was attacked on or near the bridge. Some say the man was beaten and the woman was killed. Other versions claimed a young woman was murdered by her father or jealous lover and left beneath the bridge. Since then, people say if you go there at night, stop your car on the bridge with the engine off, you can hear the sound of a heartbeat thumping dum, dum, underneath the bridge. And that is how this bridge gets its name, Heartbeat Bridge. Now, obviously, there's probably no truth to any of this. This is just Southern folklore legend. But nonetheless, it's still pretty cool. It's a pretty neat story, pretty cool spot. If you do come out here, I will advise you to do it in cooler months. Because if you come out here like right now, it's about 75 or 80 degrees. Here in early October, the bugs can just be overwhelming at times. I mean, I just keep swatting them away. So, all that being said, I think that is going to pretty much wrap it up for me today. I hope you guys enjoyed the vlog. I had a great time showing you some of these small, rural, like back road towns here in Southeastern North Carolina. I had a great time with everybody I met today. Thanks for hanging out with me and talking to me. I really enjoyed you all. Until next time, friends, I'm the Hitchhiking Yeti, and I will see you in my next adventure. Y'all stay safe, and I hope to see you all again soon. Did you hear something? Okay, let's get out of this creepy place. If I hear a heartbeat or one more gnat flies by my ear, I'm gonna lose my mind. So long. Let's go.